A faint light appears from the horizon. I can smell the soot coming from the stack as a locomotive approaches ever so cautiously. I wait with anticipation and fear. The train comes to a halt just meters from where I'm standing. I watch as the gentlemen remove their hats and the ladies bow their heads to show respect to one of our founding fathers, President Abraham Lincoln. Along your trip today to this destination, you had the privilege of crossing the same path as Glenn Hinesley described in 1865 in New Madison, Ohio. At the time he encountered the railroad car that housed President Abraham Lincoln's deceased body. Today, I'm going to inform you about the birth of New Madison, Ohio, who contributed, and the changes that occurred, and some interesting facts. The information I used today came from 6 legitimate references: Reverend Mern B. Cleppinger, Kenneth Baker, Marcellus Stryker, Wendell Thomas, Emory Hutchinson, and Glenn Hinesley. These are qualified references because they are and were residents of the town during the time when these events occurred. But before I lavish you with a history of New Madison, I have to rewind a little bit, because you see, New Madison did not exist until 1818. Prior to its rename, it was called Fort Black, Ohio. It was named Fort Black because of the fort that was constructed by the order of Lieutenant Black during the War of 1812. It served as a refuge for civilians from Indians. It consisted of a block building and situated about 20 feet north of the current Main Street by the fire department. In 1819, a settler by Ernestus Putnam came to Ohio in search of the small town. He purchased land from an unsuccessful entrepreneur named Zadok Smith. In 1831, Ernestus divided the land into 34 lots, which most of them sold immediately. It renamed the town to New Madison, Ohio, and a new town it was. In the 1800s, there were approximately 33 businesses, to be exact. Some of them included a tannery, a library, grocery store, department store, and your choice of 5 barbers. Ernestus' plans were continued growth of New Madison. He contributed to much of it. He was the first businessman to open Putnam's General Store. He dedicated land for school purposes. And he also gave 3.5 acres for burial purposes. He also helped construct Mills Road, which gave a traveler's path to the town. He designated a parcel of land for a park in the town. The only stipulation was that the townsmen needed to take care of the property, and if it wasn't taken care of, it was transferred back to his name. On September 19th of 1965, the village of New Madison dedicated the land of the Ernestus Putnam Memorial Park, and it currently sits close to the fire department. In 1847, he helped organize and build a church, and with the merging and growing of the congregations, the church was relocated and a new church was erected on Washington Street. It's currently the United Methodist Church, and it is the final resting place of Ernestus. He was deceased October 20th of 1865. Now that I shared some information as to how New Madison evolved and the key contributor to its success, I would like to give you some historical facts that you might not be aware of. The same railroad car that brought President Abraham Lincoln's body through New Madison also was transportation for the Liberty Bell. It passed through New Madison in 1893 on its way to the World's Fair. Walter Alston was a famous baseball player that claimed New Madison as his residence. He was an athletic director and a biology teacher at the local school. In 1936, he played for the St. Louis Cardinals and eventually managed the Los Angeles Dodgers. New Madison was also the hometown for the school teacher in Harrison Township. Moses Wood taught at the first erected school in Harrison Township, located about 2 miles from New Madison in a town called Yankeetown. New Madison, known as Fort Black at the time, was second town to be laid out in the county, second to Greenville, Ohio, the second town to be incorporated, and also the second highest point in the county. And also before traditional drainage systems, the town was divided by a waterway, and residents believed that the waterway helped protect the town from the tornadoes. After the passing of Ernestus and throughout the years of New Madison, continued to prosper but never increased in population or size. Some businesses that developed over time and still stand today are the insurance office, a bank, a snack shop, lumberyard, grocery, and an electronics store. Hopefully with the information you learned today, you will learn to appreciate the efforts that were brought forth by Ernestus Putnam and his drive for success.